Welcome to the Class of the Little Sass podcast. I'm your host, Carrie Millspaw, best-selling author and award-winning motivational speaker with over 20 years in the personal development industry. I believe that the more you know, the more you grow. With each podcast episode, I will educate and empower you, girlfriend to girlfriend style, on how to create a happy life, from motherhood guidance, career and business advice, to feeling confident in your relationships and everything in between. This is Real Talk Radio. Let's jump right into today's episode. Welcome to a very off-the-cuff episode as I want to bring you into my current life situation, real time. As I record this, it's August 7th. And a lot has happened in the last few weeks. And I really want to get honed in on what it feels like when God speaks. How do you know it's God? All the questions we have when your faith is strong, but you're not sure, are these my thoughts? Am I forcing the outcome? Am I manipulating it? I want this life change, but how do I know when it's God versus my own personal ego or whatever else shows up? And I'm hoping you get some clarity with my own personal story as I walk you through just what's happened very recently in the last few weeks of my own changes as we make some big life changes over here. And I kind of felt it was going to happen, which is why I did an episode about being resilient to change versus resistant, which was just, I don't know, a month or two ago. I could feel something was going to happen for the second half of 2023. And you just kind of brace yourself and you're like, here it comes. And I have to remind myself, learn to surf. Here comes the wave. All you can do is ride the wave. Don't let it plummet you. Don't let it wash you up on the beach. Just learn to surf, because that's the best way to embrace change, is just be resilient, be flexible, let it happen, let God do his thing. You're going to end up exactly where you wanted. In fact, you'll probably end up somewhere even better. That's my experience every time. When I just kind of let go, surrender, and let Jesus do his part, things always work out better that way. It's when I stiffen up and resist is when, you get hurt in the tumble of the wave coming at you. Learn to just surf it, just ride that wave, sisters. That's all I can say. So I saw this great little meme the other day, and I think I shared it on social media. It's something like, when you know that God is always on time, you wait differently. He's never late. Sometimes it does feel like whatever you ask for, it literally shows up at the final hour, the 11th hour is what people say. But just knowing he's never late. His timing is always perfect. Always. Even when we want to force something in our life and we're trying to manipulate it and we're like, Lord, I really want it right now. Like right now would be really good, God. Like whatever that looks like for you, whether it's changing a career or having a baby or getting married, and you're really, really pushing, take a deep breath and let things unfold. You can feel it in your body, that tension. That's fear. That's not of the Lord. If you're trying to manipulate an outcome through anxiety and, think about it, the Lord is not the author of fear, anxiety, depression, all the negative fear-based emotions that we have. That's not Jesus. The author of fear is the devil. So let's call that out right up front. And when you're in that life change and you feel like that anxiety and the pit in your stomach, you can't sleep, you can't breathe, you don't know what to do next, you're feeling all those emotions, my sisters, you're not letting God lead. You're trying to just take in the whole world by yourself. So this is kind of where I'm at. Let me give you kind of a backstory here. Many of you that followed me know I'm from Michigan. I talk about it all the time. And I'm not just from Michigan. I'm from Traverse City, Michigan, which is a piece of heaven. And I almost don't even want to talk about it anymore because it's a jewel. It's the jewel of Michigan. And I feel like everybody's going there and it's getting overpopulated. So keep it on the down low. Okay. But I lived in Ann Arbor area, just outside of Ann Arbor for 18 years, and that is not the jewel of Michigan. Anywhere south of West Branch, which is where my parents live, is the more industrial area of Michigan. It's flat, it's very industrial, it's more city life, it's more, I don't know, polluted. What comes to your mind when you say industrial? I think of pollution. And it's just not it's like a different version of Michigan. It's like there's two halves. There's the Upper Peninsula, there's the northwest, northeast side of the mitten. That's what we call it. Think of like the fingertips, that area, and the pinky. And the thumb isn't so bad, but anywhere in the Detroit region and down is just meh, not favorable. Northern Michigan, hills, trees, water, water, lots and lots of fresh lakes, the Great Lakes, rolling hills, beautiful seasons, white Christmases, all the things. And my soul is missing it. So I've lived in Vegas for 15 years now, and I've been wanting to move for a long time, but the time just didn't feel right. And everyone's like, "What is going on with you? You say you want to move back. Why haven't you done it yet?" Because I'm waiting for Jesus to say go. And it sounds so silly, but you know in your gut when it's time. You know. I wanted to back in 2016. I called my father after visiting Michigan, visiting my hometown, hanging out with family. I was home maybe a day or two. I recall sitting in my living room on the couch, just crying to my dad, sobbing. I want to move home. I'm so homesick, Dad. I cannot even do this anymore. That was back in 2016. And I think, like literally, what was that, July 2016, that September, he had his accident. So maybe I was feeling as an empath, something's up, something's going to happen. I'm going to want to be closer to home. I don't know. I had that feeling of I'm too far away. If something happens, I have to take 2 flights to get there. It's just frustrating. And, family is number one to me. People are always number one. So maybe it was that. I don't know. But look how long I've been patient. So patient. Good Lord. Let's do the math. 7 years now. 7 years. And it's the timing thing. You look at in scripture, um, the Israelites wandering the wilderness for 40 years, like you think like, oh my goodness, how they have so much patience waiting for the promised land, wandering for 40 years with Moses in the wilderness. You think of that. Why does God make people wait so long? Isn't it kind of frustrating? It's like, no, I thought of it now, Jesus, I'm ready. But he sees things we can't see. He knows what's up ahead. Our job is to wait for that nudge, and you're going to know it. And I know that's a big question right now. It's like, when do I know it's God? When is he going to yell? Is he going to push me? Is he going to open up a door I never saw coming? It's a combination of many things. And no, we don't hear the audible voice of God. Sometimes we feel it. There's some people that have certain gifts that might hear it, but I feel it. And it's through different avenues. God uses people to speak to you, his word. He uses scripture. Sometimes it's where we're looking the most, social media of all places. And you're like, Lord, I need a word today. And you pop on Instagram, and your favorite pastor you follow has a 2-second clip that just says exactly what you needed in that moment. That's God using other people. He works through lots of mysterious ways, but where he speaks the most is through his word, which is why it's so important to have those beautiful scriptures memorized, the verses that are near and dear to your heart. Have them close by. That's what's going to get you through your day, and read those little gentle reminders from God. The Lord, his love letter to you is the Bible. That is how he speaks to you still through all these years. It's still his word that comes through. So I'm going to take you back a second. Age 15, 1989, I did not want to leave my hometown. And I was just getting ready to start high school. I had a boyfriend at the time, or just a summer love, that summer crush you have at age 15. How cute is that? Where we would write love letters back and forth and mail them, yes, on note paper. That's how far back I take you. And oh my gosh, I was so excited when I would get a love letter in the mail. I was just so excited about all of it. And there was something about, there were pages and pages from him. And when I could talk on the phone without parental supervision, we would talk for hours on the phone. And mom, if you're listening, yes, I'm totally outing myself. But we had, the typical landline on the wall with the cord. So where are you going to go? You can't even have a private conversation because that landline was literally in the kitchen. So I would stretch that cord as far as I could to the basement stairs and shut that door. Some of you might have had a closet you hid in. I mean, come on, if you couldn't find someone, you just followed the phone cord, like, oh, there she is, there's my mom, or wherever, someone trying to have a private conversation. My sisters, when they talked to their boyfriends, we would tease them, but that's where we would hide. I would stretch that phone card as far as I could to the top of the basement stairs, shut myself on, from the basement door and sit on that top step and talk until all hours of the night. And you know what? My mom didn't know. I was sneaky. I would turn the ringer off on the phone and it would blink and I would know he was calling me. We'd set this all up. So I was in that era, if you can imagine, at 15. You remember your own 15-year-old days and just that young summer love. I'm excited. I just did driver's ed and saw him there. And I'm going to, start driving, and the whole world looks so big and promising because you're going on 16, and I'm getting ready to start in the big high school in downtown Traverse City. I'm going into the 10th grade. High school for us didn't start till 10th grade then. I was excited. I was coming into who I am. I was starting to feel confident in my skin. And I can't believe my dad said, hey, we bought a house in Ypsilanti, Michigan, and we're going to move. You're going to start the school year down there. I felt sucker punched. I felt like the wind got knocked out of me. Wait a minute. I already saw myself graduating the same high school that my older siblings, all three older siblings, graduated from. I'm a Traverse City Trojan. I am graduating from that high school. You can't make me. Boy, did I take a downward spiral. And what's interesting is we lived a very small life. My parents didn't do a lot of activities. Our life was 100% the church. If it didn't have anything to do with the church, we didn't do it. We didn't even celebrate and have fun and explore the areas around us. In fact, there's so many beautiful gems all around where I grew up that we didn't know. My life really revolved around this 1 to 2 mile radius of the house and the church. And of course, going to school on the school bus, but that was about it. I didn't even know how beautiful my hometown was until right before we moved. My dad was working downstate. He was working for my uncle at the time. He had gotten a permanent placement. And so that meant it's time to move, guys, like that. Your parents can't quite go through that separation and have a healthy marriage if possible. So it was unfortunate, but in that little window of time, my mom had some freedom. So she took us to lighthouses and to beaches and all around, and we were just really got to explore Traverse City, and I fell in love even deeper with my hometown. I'd always had this pride and joy, very school patriotic, my community. My mom took us going to the Cherry Festival when we were little. We would see the parades. We would go to the fairs in the summertime. And that blue water, just driving in downtown and always seeing that blue water. It was right there to greet me. I don't know if it's because I'm a Pisces or what, but that water soothed my soul every time. And it was just my little slice of heaven. And my heart has never left. 34 years later, it has never left. I have gone home to visit. I owned 10 acres of property back in 2000, right before I had my daughter. I was pregnant with her. I think we just found out I was pregnant. So it was August of 2003 that we purchased 10 acres of land there. So in my mind, we're eventually going to build. But I'll be honest with you guys. A man has stopped me from moving back this whole time. Every time I've tried to move back to Traverse City, there's been a roadblock in the form of a male of some sort. It started with, I was 18. Okay, so my parents moved me from 15 down to Ypsilanti, which is, again, just outside of Ann Arbor, that lower half of Michigan. I got offered with the job I was working at the time. I was working in an optical store in retail. And my district manager said, you know what, Carrie, I know you really love your hometown. You go back up there all the time, visit your sisters. Would you like to transfer? We've got a location there. And I'm like, oh, I could move? Yeah, actually, we've got an opening for a management position. but it's at the Traverse City location. Do you want it? And immediately I'd already been immersed in my high school sweetheart relationship that ironically started literally my first day of school in Ypsilanti. And that was my future husband that I had met. So I had already been dating him for 3 years. I'm kind of stuck. Actually, I wasn't 18. I apologize. I was 19 at that time. At 19, I was already thinking, and I remember these distinct words from my district manager. She looked at me. She goes, don't make the mistake I did and let a man rule your life at age 19. You're way too young to be tied down, young lady. And I took it like, oh. And I think she married her high school sweetheart. She was giving me, and she was a strong woman. I admired her, deeply respected her management style, her leadership, her strength. She was a tough cookie. And she was our district manager at the time. So I was like, that kind of stuck with me. But I was stuck. I didn't know any different. I'm like, wow, I'm living on my own. I have a boyfriend. I really think I'll stay, even though I didn't love the area. So there goes opportunity number 1 out the window. I get married and I get stuck even deeper. Now, my ex-husband at the time, liked Traverse City, really loved it too. But we were married for 12 years and he worked for a company that you don't just leave, Ford Motor Company. It's not something you can just transfer and work somewhere else. You're stuck. And I felt trapped. That anchor started to feel like a noose around my neck. It was a ball and chain. It felt like I was dragging it around. I can't live where I want to. So, ironically, I did not choose when I got a divorce to move to Traverse City. I chose to start over somewhere else. I needed to expand as a person. I highly recommend leaving your hometown for a little bit and coming back. It's big. It's healthy. It's expanding. It's transformative. It's all the things. And I chose to move to Vegas instead, but I've still frequent all the time. And there's just something about whenever the plane lands back home in Cherry Capital Airport, the little Traverse City Airport, I feel like I'm home. Hi, everybody. I'm home. I feel like almost like announcing it. Hi, guys. I'm here. And I have to go get my feet in that water as soon as possible. Of course, unless it's the middle of the snow, winter time or Christmas time. And even then I'm tempted to, but my heart's never left. There's a piece of me still there. And I think everyone that has a hometown can relate. There's just kind of that feeling, those roots. So even though I've only lived there for 15 years, a piece of me has always promised myself I will go back and I will have my little residence there, whatever anchor I can find, even if it's not full-time all year round anchor. I need an anchor there. But there's been other obstacles, you think about it. 15 years in Vegas, in and out of relationships, constant men in my life that are like, oh, I don't want to move back there. Or I don't want to, I'm thinking of moving, or they have children here. And again, another anchor, another ball and chain that's keeping me from doing what I want. From hitting my own personal goals. And these aren't just goals, like lofty goals, like I think I want to start a business goals. This is my heart. And it helps that, yes, I have 2 sisters that still reside there, and I'm super close with my sisters. So that makes a big difference, especially my younger sister. We were besties, always have been. We grew up together. We share a brain at times. She can finish my sentences. So it's a big piece of me that's like always felt like something's missing. And every time I go home, I would describe it as, I feel like I'm whole again. I feel like I'm me again. I feel like a whole person when I go home. Plant my butt on that beach. And I would always joke, just spread my ashes on Lake Michigan. That's all I want. I don't care. Just bury me here. I'll joke, if I'm in a kayak on Lake Michigan or just soaking it all up. This is where I'm happiest. And when we would visit, and coming from downstate, my little girl was just a baby. As soon as we would turn that corner and start to see East Bay coming from downstate, I would remind her, that's mommy's big, big water. And she would say it looking out the window. There's mommy's big, big water. Lake Michigan and the Bay. It's just, if you've not seen the Great Lakes, they will blow your mind. They look like you feel like you're on the ocean because you can't see the other side. The difference is it's fresh water, not salt water. No sharks, no jellyfish to look out for. And it's just beautiful sandy beaches along the Michigan side. I can't speak for the Wisconsin side, but that's a little different in some areas. I've flown over it lots of times, but I can't speak for that side. But on the Michigan side, especially the west side, lots of sand dunes and beautiful beaches. So let's fast forward to today. I had to give you that background so you understand where my heart is. My daughter, of course, she's got a boyfriend. She's following her mom's footsteps, unfortunately. I really want her to live life. There's a part of me that's like happy for her, and there's a part of me that's like, She's been in a relationship with a boy for 4 years, since she was 15. Sound familiar? Sounds a lot like her mama. And they are best friends. They're so cute together. I don't have any negative words. They are literally joined at the hip. I would love her to figure out who she is as a single independent girl. But being an only child, I think that codependency of just having that bestie in your corner is a part of it. And, I just want my kid to be happy. That's all that matters to me. I want my daughter to be happy. But now that she's graduated out of high school, age 19, she's at that stage where she's itching to go do her next thing. And I know for a fact I would never move back without her. I'm not going to leave her in Las Vegas. That's just, nope. She can go away to college, but just leaving her here just felt just wrong in my gut. It didn't feel right. And little by little, every summer that we go back, and that's where her dad is, and her, not just both grandparents, but her father's there too. Cousins galore. We've got a ginormous family, and being out west, we're very isolated from all of that. So that makes the holidays tough. So long story short, she's slowly inching her way to, okay, I think I'm ready. But the one final thing that needed to happen was her boyfriend needed to also be on board. So we took him this past summer. She flew out there with him alone for 2 weeks. I shouldn't say alone. They were on their own. Her dad picked her up. She did the whole fun amusement park thing. She loves to go to Cedar Point every summer. It's a ritual she did with her dad, and now she's doing it with her boyfriend. I think it's really cute. And he loved it. He loves nature like me. He loved the woods, the trees. He just fell in love with all of the nature side that you really, really are starved for here in the desert. Nothing grows out here except for more dirt and rock, stubble. That's about it. So I prayed about it, and I was watching them as I was also visiting Michigan around the same time, and they were kind of coming and going, bouncing between me and her dad. And she's like, Mom, I don't want to go home. I don't want to go back to Vegas. And she just was different this time. And on the airplane ride, she said she cried all the way home. She didn't even want to leave. I think that one final piece was her boyfriend. She'd been holding out. But she needed to introduce him to this other piece of herself. And seeing the green flag and him giving this the thumbs up, like, I'm in. I want to move there too, was just what she needed, that little nudge. And, it's all about the timing. I've been patient, waiting for her to be also on the same page as me. And you go back and forth. It's hard. Relocating again, or transplanting yourself across the country is different. We're giving up a lot of the big city life where everything you want is at your fingertips. Literally, from DoorDash to overnight Amazon Prime and to, all the things. Every 5-star hotel, restaurant, top of the everything. You're spoiled rotten living in Vegas. Let's just be honest. Everything's top notch. Big homes, big restaurants, the top and the best of shopping, availability. Everything's 2 minutes from you. Again, super spoiled to the big city life. But what was missing was the stuff that matters. Family, connection, community, down-to-earth people. And yes, those people exist here too. I've made some great friendships along the way. They're just a little harder to find. You let your guard down. You let your shoulders down when you're back home. It's a little different vibe. I don't feel like I need to look over my shoulder and clutch my purse to my chest. The crime rate here in Vegas is getting worse and worse and worse, and it's just pushing me out. Doesn't help that most of my friends have moved away as well. I feel like I'm the last one standing. There's just a couple left. Very few are left in Vegas. Most have moved on to greener pastures. Literally, they're all going east, away from the West Coast dry heat. So when do we know when it's the right time? When does God push us? Sometimes I need a nudge. Sometimes it feels like a shove. Sometimes I need that little, okay, Carrie, you're not moving yet. I'm going to start to pull the rug out from under you. Have you ever had that happen? I mean, I've been in that situation so many times. So we come home July 8th, I believe, was when we flew home. Shyla, my daughter, flew in earlier than me. And when I get there, she's like, Mom, it was so sad. I don't even want to be here. And we just like, and her boyfriend's not feeling well either, doesn't want to be home either. We miss it already. We've just barely been home. So I'm like, okay, I'm still on my vacation vibe. Like, woo, I'm still mentally at the beach on a sailboat somewhere. I'm feeling it. I'm good. I'm unpacking. I get to sleep in my own bed. I'm happy about that. But I feel her. I feel her. And literally a week from that time, she comes home from work that Saturday, literally a week later, the 15th, July 15th, and says, I don't want to be here anymore. She's literally having a meltdown. I don't know if it was just a combination of stress from work or what, but she's like, I just don't want to be here anymore. I'm looking for apartments already in Michigan. You can go with or without me, Mom, but we're going to move. And if I have to live near my dad, that's fine, because her father does not live in my hometown. He lives about an hour and a half from there in that general northern region. And I'm like, what? Wow, she's going to leave without me. That's a first. I said, well, you don't have to do that. I mean, I'm more than ready. Now, here comes the logistics part, because your brain goes there. I've been renting a gorgeous home for the past 8 years. I have not purchased a home since I had to walk away from 10 acres of property and 4 homes during the crash of 2008. Maybe I'm a little skeptical, maybe I'm a little burned, but that was a big hit right in the middle of my divorce too. So I have not purchased real estate since that time. And it's kind of nice when you're renting, you don't have to deal with the water heater broke and needs to be replaced and all the maintenance of a house. You can walk away whenever needed. Well, ironically, my lease is up at the end of August. And we're getting a walkthrough coming that Monday, July 17th. My property manager that I have a great relationship with is going to come and take a peek at things, and we'll take a look at renewing. Like, yeah, sure, I plan on renewing, whatever. I was going to talk to her at that time about maybe a month-to-month option, because the thought of locking myself in for another year just felt yuck. It didn't feel right. It felt heavy. It's a no when it's heavy. If it's a yes, it feels light. If it's a no, like, I can't stress that feeling enough. So Miss Shyla has her meltdown on the 15th. My property manager shows up Monday morning bright and early around 9. Hi guys, how's it going? Yeah, I've got some news for you. So, and she loves our home. She likes how I decorate, and she always just walks in as kind of like a quick glance, like, yep, everything looks good. No major damage. You haven't torn up the carpets and, splattered the walls with black paint or anything like that. It's pretty easy walkthrough. But she kind of looks at me and goes, so, and my daughter's upstairs getting ready for work, so she doesn't hear this conversation. She's like, so, the owners want to sell the house. And I just kind of keep a smile plastered on my face, like, oh, okay. I'm not surprised. I'm actually surprised they waited this long, considering the market was really hot just a year or two ago. Like, you should have sold then. But okay, that sounds wonderful. She's like, you can stay, do month to month until it sells, but we're going to list it soon. In fact, they wanted me to list it last week, but I told them I was going to see you soon. Let me tell you in person. So, on the inside, I'm like, holy crap, holy crap. Oh my goodness, oh my goodness. Okay, here we go. I can feel it. Here comes the shove that God does sometimes. Again, like, all right, here it comes. And I'm not trying to show anything on the outside, of course. I don't want to show her any panic vibes, but That's a sign. That's a God nudge. And I'm like, all right, cool, no problem. And we're not going to raise the rent because month to month, I knew it was going to go up 10, 20% per month. And I was prepared for that, but I wanted to be on my terms. Now it's even better. The rent's not going to go up. I get to stay until it sells. Then she's kind of like, well, they're kind of asking high. It might sit for a little bit. She's trying to reassure me a little bit. So, which I appreciate. I walk her out after lots of chit chat and small talk, and my daughter comes down getting ready to go to work. I let her know. I have no idea how she's going to react. I'm like, well, they're selling the house. She's like, yes, this is perfect, Mom. Don't you see? Oh my goodness. I literally was telling God 2 days ago that I want to move, and look what happened. Boy, that answers, he answers so quickly. I'm thinking, hey, I've been praying for years, girl. Where are you at? So I see that's the nudge that God gave me. And guess what? When Jesus speaks to you, you move. You move. This is for you. You're looking for signs. They will land on your lap. I wasn't hunting for them. That's how you know it's God. It's because you're like going about your day and then bam, there it is. Answer on your lap. It's when we're hunting and hunting and hunting and hunting. That's not so much a God thing. I ask for the Lord to open up the right door, show me the time. I'm not in I'm not in an invested relationship for once. I'm not tied down by a guy. She is, and she's bringing him with her. This just feels right. She's not in school. I'm not pulling her out of school. Life is good. She's ready to quit her job and start her next venture. She's good. We're good. We're ready for this next chapter, Lord. And it's lining up. Now here comes another piece and another piece and another piece. Now it's when you start moving, God will hand you these puzzle pieces, but he only gives you one at a time. And that can be so frustrating. You're like, no, Jesus, I need to know. Okay, I'm going to place this, but what does the whole picture look like? Can you just show me what the box looks like? At least can I get a glimpse? Because this is hard, and it is hard. But there's a strong feeling that you know the Lord is speaking to you. And it's so much more fun to do life with Jesus than it is to do it all by yourself. Now, I have to remind you that in John 8:47, it says, whoever belongs to God hears what God says. The reason you do not hear is that you do not belong to God. Make sure you're his child first. Make sure you have this relationship with Jesus first. Make sure you've given your life to the Son of God, Jesus Christ, first, and made him Lord of your life. He doesn't just pop in and out. He's not Santa Claus. You don't just get to pray and get answers. You've got to have faith, number one, and you need to have a strong sense of belief, and you need to have a relationship with Jesus. You know it's him because you've done this before. My sheep hear my voice. I know them and they follow me. John 10:27. That is the most comforting verse. My sheep hear my voice. I know them and they follow me. I give them eternal life and they shall never perish. No one can take them out of my hand. Isn't that yummy? John 10:27 and 28. If you want to look it up yourself. My sheep hear my voice. I know them and they follow me. I give them eternal life and they shall never perish. No one can take them out of my hand. What a comforting space. I know I'm in God's hands. And even though I don't see the picture on the box, the puzzle box, as much as I want to, I know I'm in good hands. I'm in God's hands. He's going to give me a piece at a time. So he gives me puzzle piece one. Carrie, after 8 years of living in a comfortable place in the suburbs, raised your baby through middle school, high school, built your business, took on more career adventures. You did it, girl. But now it's time. And I don't know if you're going to do this on your own, so I'm going to give you a little push. And that's exactly what that was. And I thought in that moment, it took me a day or two to kind of absorb everything. And I'm like, oh, here we go. I mean, I'm not going to lie. I get super excited when I see God working. It's fun. Here we go. It's time. It's go time, y'all. It's go time. And that energy of just working with simultaneously with my creator is just so much more fun than trying to stumble around in the dark by myself. My sheep hear my voice. Just gets me. It gets me every time. That was God's voice. Now what, Jesus? I've already been looking for the last 2 years at real estate and renting and options, and this just feels like nothing's out there, Lord. I'm going to have to pay more for less. My ego's not happy. I don't want to live in a teeny tiny mouse infested place in the country for more money than I'm paying now. My ego's getting in the way. I like new builds, and I'm spoiled rotten. God, I like new cars that smell good, and I like new homes. And I'm not going to lie, my home that I had when I first got married was brand spanking new, just built. The apartment I moved into when I first got to Las Vegas, brand spanking new, just built. I'm kind of a snob. Maybe it's an empath thing. I don't like old energy. I like new energy. I don't like antiques either. They give me the EBGBs. So, moving right along, ego and all. Time for nudge number 2. Time for door open number 2. God works so fun. He's so fun and he's so unconventional. The way you think you're supposed to do things, he doesn't do it like that. He's going to do it differently. So be prepared for curveballs, twists and turns as you pivot through life. It's so much fun. So much more fun with Jesus than it is just doing things the boring, linear way. So, I'm looking. I reach out to friends. I reach out to realtors that I know. I get recommendations. Can you guys give me word of mouth of renting is just going to have to be the way right now. I'm not ready to buy. And I don't have time. I don't have that time. Plus, who's going to walk through a house? I'm 2,000 plus miles away, 2 plane rides away. So, okay, Lord, I'm going to have to rent. I want to do this on my terms. I didn't want to sit around waiting for them to sell the house out from under me and tell me I have to be gone by Friday or whatever that looks like. Yes, they may give me a 30 days notice, but I don't want to take the chance. And this is a big house. I've accumulated a lot of stuff. 2,400 square feet of stuff. 4 bedrooms, 2 that we're not using. So those were getting full of stuff. It's amazing what we can accumulate, isn't it? Just it's all hidden away. So the house looks so clean all the time. Oh yeah, but there's a cupboard here and a closet there, and just amazing how much stuff you accumulate. It just drags me down. I'm starting to see it as a noose around my neck as well. This stuff is weight. It's weighting me down. Okay, so I'm looking at Zillow. I'm looking at property management. I'm looking at realtors. I'm connecting with people on Facebook. My friends are reminding me to look on the Facebook groups in Traverse City and all the things. There's a Traverse City rental group, which I believe I belonged to just recently. And it wasn't something that had a lot of activity in it, but I figured, okay, the more the merrier, word of mouth sometimes helps. And I've seen the discouragement throughout the past couple of years as I was researching the area. I know we're in a housing crisis. I know it's ridiculous. Just to give you an idea, it is for what I'm paying for a 4-bedroom, 3-bath, 2-car garage, 2 balconies, a balcony overlooking the Strip kind of house in a very nice suburb in the northwest side of Vegas. I will get the same for that amount of money. I might get a 1 or 2 bedroom apartment. So that just kind of shows you the downgrade. So I'm not above downsizing, but when you have this much stuff, good Lord, just think of the overwhelm that I've been going through for the last couple of weeks. So I'm staying up every night, literally going through Zillow, going through houses, running into problems. I'm seeing stuff that's like, it's so far away. It's out in the middle of nowhere. They get snow. I'm going to get snowed in. Oh, that's not going to work. Where's that? That's so far away from family. I don't want to be like an hour away from my sister. This doesn't feel right to move that close, but be so far away still. And nothing just felt right. And I was getting myself worked up, getting myself angry, anxious. And the other thing is my hometown's a huge tourist spot. So it's just inundated with an abundance of short-term rentals. And during the winter, they will rent them out, but they're fully furnished. So you got to find storage for your apartment or for your stuff. And they're only going to rent probably from October to May if you're lucky. We're going to be right back in the same boat again, April, May. I'm getting frustrated. I'm not finding anything. I'd love to rent a house, but I'm getting stuck. And then I hear there's 1 to 2 year waiting list for just apartments. I'm feeling defeated. I'm like, okay, Jesus, I know you didn't just shut this door behind me not to open up one ahead of me, but I'm working myself up into a tizzy, getting anxious. Again, God's not the author of anxiety and fear. So I need to just take a breather and let go. Stop looking at the apps, stop looking online, and just breathe. That was my direct feeling from the Lord, commandment. Carrie, chill. Work on what you can control. Okay, I'm going to start listing things on Facebook Marketplace for sale, and I'm going to downsize. I'm going to start purging. I've got donation trucks coming. I'm going and sorting, and this feels so good. I'm cleansing. Yes, this I can control this. All I can do is get ready. Start going through things, rooms. What am I keeping? What are we selling? What are we giving away? Perfect. And pitching. Lord Jesus, I have been pitching a lot. Such a cleansing feeling. Oh, I highly recommend it. Don't wait for a move to do this. So I'm working on what I can control. It's been almost exactly 1 week from the news. In fact, it was Sunday night and I had found out that we were moving that Monday prior, or that we would have to move. I am editing my book. I'm working on another obedience piece that I told Jesus I would do this year. Editing, working through, feeling a little overwhelmed. You know what we do? We grab our phone when we're overwhelmed, that ADHD thing, and glance at a Facebook profile or just I'm going to scroll for a little bit and clear my head while I'm in the middle of editing my book, which that's where we're at, just editing. Can't wait it's so close, guys, so close to getting published. Can't wait to get it in your hands. You're going to love it. So many juicy stories in there. So it's such a girlfriend's guide. So I look at the Facebook and it's 8:30 at night on a Sunday and I see a post in one of the Facebook groups, in Traverse City Rentals groups, saying, we need someone to take over our lease. 2-bedroom, 2.5 bath townhouse with all the amenities, listed. I don't know really what it looks like. There's a couple pictures, but I don't really have an idea. But I know it's got 2 bedrooms and I know that my daughter and her boyfriend can come with me and it's 2,000 square feet. Okay, we can work with this. I know we're going to be downsizing, but I can work with this. I'm saying yes in my head and I'm like feeling that go vibration. You know what it feels like? Kind of like this is emergency. This is go. It's just a God vibe. So strong. Go. Don't look at the details. I've got this. Go. I immediately respond. I would jump on this in a heartbeat, but she had, needed it by mid-August. I'm like, that's really early. I can do it by September 1st. If you could just give me the month of August, I know I can do this. She's like, I think I can push it out. Private message me. I immediately message her. And I'm getting excited now. I'm like, oh, this is happening. I can do this. This rent's higher than what I'm paying, but it's doable. And I can take over the lease and I can renew it. This is a God thing. Yes, 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 yes. I can help her and I'm getting help too at the same time. It's a win-win. This is a win-win situation for both of us. She's like, okay, call me tomorrow. We'll work out the details. I can't sleep that whole night. I start looking it up. I'm like, can I get the address? I don't even know where this is. And I'm already saying yes. Girls, it is 5 miles from my baby sister's house. Maybe 8 miles, maybe 8 minutes, 10 minutes from my other sister's house. It is right by East Bay. In fact, it's like a couple minutes from the property I used to own that I had to give away basically in a short sale during the crash of 2008 during my divorce. I am blown away at the location and then it hits me. I know exactly where these are. She's like, they're brand new. It was just built in February or just completed in February of this year. I start doing Google Maps. I'm like, oh, full body goosebumps. Girls, I drove by there the summer before, I believe. It's next to a golf course. And I remember that, that gut feeling when you're driving by and you're like, must be nice to build a house there. That's a perfect place to build homes. A little twinge of jealousy, not gonna lie, and a little bit of must be nice went through my head, but it was more of a, what a perfect place. I wish I was in the position to buy one of those homes. They look like they're building homes. Little did I know they were really townhomes. complete with, all the fun stuff that comes with a townhome, not having to do snow removal, well, shovel my driveway, not having to mow grass, not have to even take care of the landscaping if you don't want to. What else comes with the townhome? Oh yeah, a gym, a clubhouse, a pool, all the things, right? Right next to the golf course, a mile from the airport, just right by everything. Very, very close to my dealership. Easy oil changes for both of our new cars. Life is good. I'm getting more excited. I did not fall asleep till 5:30 a.m. that night. I could not turn off my excitement. But it's because I just went. I felt God pushing on me. I didn't even get to talk to my daughter yet about it. I kind of was like messaging her at work, like, I think I found a place. Oh, never mind. I'm just going forward with it. I'll fill you in when you get home. And I'm like, I don't need you to even give me a yes. This is me and God doing this. I got this. It's a go. And living with me is temporary. She's ready to get her own place. So it's about, what is mama needing right now in her next phase of her life as an empty nester? I said yes. Didn't know the details. And the more I learned, the happier I got. I'm like, yes, 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 Jesus, this is exactly it. Love the brand new build. It's totally Carrie vibe. It's got the dark blue with the white and the stone and the gray and the nautical beachy vibe townhomes. Done. One car garage. That part's a little bit unfortunate for my daughter, but it's mommy's place. So I say all that to say this. You got to just go. You don't have to check all the boxes. When you feel the Lord pushing on you, go. Everything's falling into place. I've been, for the last 3 weeks, packing, selling. I feel like my house has been a revolving door of realtors dropping in with their clients to look at the house, and Facebook marketing, furniture going in and out of the house, and strangers walking through stuff. And it's just like, I can't wait for this to be over with, but I'm trying to enjoy the journey. I'm trying to enjoy the process. I'm just trusting the process. I trust the Lord who is in charge of the process. He's the main leader of this project, and just leaning in to what he has for me. And that, my friends, is when you know it's a God thing. And if I didn't know before, here's the icing on the cake. I just this past Saturday, a couple days ago from when I'm recording this, I literally just showed the house to 2 people, 2 different realtors with their clients in and out on a Saturday morning, which I'm not going to lie, didn't like that. And it's only been on the market for a week. I was grateful they didn't list it right away, but I don't like strangers popping in and out. Now you're thinking, is my laundry on the floor? The house looks like a mess. I've got furniture pulled all to the door for people to pick up. I've got boxes and packing, and it's just a nightmare. And it's not pretty. It's not your typical house showing. So I'm a little self-conscious, and it's interruptive, as you're working through your day and trying to get things done. So I was a little bit complainative, not going to lie. If that's a word, complaining, a little bitchy. So I happen to look at my phone right after we show these 2 clients, and I look at an email from the property manager who says, "Hi, I'm so sorry to have to do this, but the owners have decided now not to sell your house, and you're more than welcome to stay if you'd like. I am so sorry for the inconvenience this may have caused." No explanation, just let any realtors that contact you to let them know it's being taken off the market as of Monday, which is today that I'm recording this, August 7th. Holy crap. I tell my daughter, I'm like, oh my gosh, we don't have to show the house anymore. That was the first thing I thought. I was like, yes, I don't have to show the house anymore. No more strangers walking through my closets and talking about my shoes. No more personal items out or left and feeling self-conscious about boxes and wrapping and all the things. But guess what else? It just spoke to me. God gave me the nudge. Of course, we're not staying. Duh. And I let her know the ball's already rolling. Girl, I got the moving van coming on a certain day. Everything is lined up. Everything's reserved. I've got cleaning people coming. I have locked in all the hard pieces into my calendar. I am on point. I'm project manager queen over here. But isn't it ironic? It was the nudge I needed. We're going to sell the house. Okay, she's leaving. Oh, maybe. Oh, we changed her mind. Literally, 3 weeks later? I don't know why they don't want to sell it. And I kind of hope they change their mind, because I really got attached to the couple that looked at it on Saturday morning and kind of was selling it. She's a school teacher in the area. I was kind of selling it. I hope they do make an offer and maybe change their mind, because I would like them to have it. But that's just me getting personally involved in something that's not even my sale to have. But that just shows that God will do what he has to do. And then he took the stress of having to show this house multiple times a day off my plate. You see? Do you see the God thing? Do you see it? Do you see how he's working? I am. And it's fun. I don't know what else is coming. There's other career pivots I'm making right now too. Can't wait to see what that looks like. There's some puzzle pieces that I'm still needing to get into place. We'll figure it out. And moving van gets here on August 22nd. Gonna load that baby up and head out that weekend for that long drive back. Me and my daughter, separate cars. And her dad is flying out to help us out, which is kind of nice. Have someone that knows that drive like the back of his hand. He likes to drive out to Vegas often from Michigan. Don't ask me why. I haven't done it since 2008, 15 years ago, when I moved out here originally. It's going to be a fun ride. Stay tuned. I will definitely give you more of a heads up as what's going on. But I want to just kind of remind you again, God is always on time. That should make you wait differently too. It gives us a sense of peace. I don't have all the answers yet. And I was flipping out. My daughter had to sit me down and go, Mom, God's got all the answers already. He just hasn't given them to you yet. She did her little animated soapbox parroting and echoing things she's heard her mother say a million times. And then she had to say, God, let me, what would she say? I'm your daughter. God gave me you. Let me get this right. It's hard to talk in a different person. She said, God gave me you to remind you of what you're made of, Mom. Isn't it interesting? Our kids are just little absorbed sponges, just sponging up everything that you say and do. She's just a little echo of a coach and a mentor. She's heard her mom coach clients for years. And she's heard me talk and has seen my posts. And sometimes God gives you reminders. And I said in the beginning of the episode, in so many different forms, even your own kids. No matter what their age are, she's said the right thing at the right time in the time of need so many times. God speaks through people. And in that moment, I just had some solace and some peace and was like, you're right. He does have all the answers. He just hasn't told me yet. You'll get the memo, the email, the text, the Facebook post when it's time. He only gives you what you can handle in this moment. Which is why I backed off a little bit on some of the things I'm juggling right now, because my stress level was going through the roof. Praise Jesus for that. Can't imagine walking any other way through this life. If you don't know Jesus as your personal Savior, I encourage you to talk to him. He's like right there by you. Reach out. Lord, I need you. It's just a prayer away. That relationship starts with just a simple prayer, an open heart, and faith in what you can't see. And my friends, I hope I've inspired you today with whatever life changes you're going through. Those nudges are real. They are God. The timing is always perfect. It might not be our time because we can't see what's up ahead, but it will be God's time. And when it's God's timing, it's always perfect. Big hugs, big love. See you on the next episode.
Hi there, friend. If you enjoyed this episode, do me a favor and double check that you're subscribed or following. And if you've got a quick 30 seconds, it would mean the world to me if you could leave me a 5-star review and share what you specifically liked about this episode.